Hello there, people of the internet. I'm here to tell you that you take life too seriously. There are so many examples of people in my time of doing YouTube. There have been just so many times where people get unnecessarily angry or upset or uncomfortable over just nonsense that doesn't matter. Let me give you guys an example. This is something that I think about fairly regularly whenever I get upset about something. Think of, say, World War One. How many individual soldiers went down in absolutely bloody, gory, blaze of fire fashion, thinking that their commitment to fighting absolutely tooth and nail was going to be substantial enough to get their names in history books and to keep them relatively, what's the word I'm looking for, relatively well known. And how many World War One soldiers do we know about? There's not a whole lot that are actively studied, unless you're probably a history nerd like myself. So, the main reason why I bring this up is because we have people who devoted the absolute epitome of the end of their lives with ultimate sacrifice, with the ideas of their sacrifice mattering. And here we are 100 years later, and to a vast majority of people, it doesn't matter. And that's just something that I think about. And I think to myself, with my struggles that I go through in life and how upset I get at certain things, 100 years from now, that's not going to matter. It doesn't matter if it actually matters. Like, for example, I'm not saying the events of World War One did not matter. I'm saying that to most people, those events do not matter to them. And so there's no point in being upset about whatever it is that you're going to find in life, because 100 years from now, it's just not gonna matter. Not unless it's something absolutely significant that could change the course of history. But most of us are getting upset at just the most mundane of nonsense. Like, for example, if you get upset with how I speak, I know I have a little bit of an uptalk. That's something that popped up after I had a stroke a while back. But dude, there are people who get so adamantly frustrated just because of the way I talk. Doesn't matter the information I'm trying to relay. Doesn't matter what cool stuff we're looking at. Doesn't matter if we're out blowing something up, having an awesome time. Doesn't matter if who I have as a guest on the YouTube channel. They just complain about the way that I talk, and that's all that they care about, because it is something to be upset about. Those are people that take life way too seriously. Or, for example, I go shooting at a landfill and there's a bunch of trash everywhere, and I understand that people don't like that, but it is literally a landfill, and people get upset about that. And I'm like, sorry guys, that's just the nature of the game. If you don't like landfills, what are you doing to stop, I don't know, stop pollution, stop the filling of land with garbage? Because if your extent of effort in stopping that is just commenting on someone's YouTube video saying, hey, I don't like your range, you might want to reassess your priorities. You're just looking for something to be angry about. Or, for example, this is another good example. Pronunciations. The amount of times that I bring out, say, something like this, the M1 carbine, and I say carbine, and I get just hate, like hateful comment after hateful comment of people saying, it's pronounced carbine. No, you're doing it wrong. And then people just argue about it in the comments. Guys, it doesn't matter. Like, it literally does not matter. You think that me pronouncing this as carbine or carbine is going to matter 50 years from now? Because I certainly don't. You think it's going to matter 100 years from now? Again, because I certainly don't. Do you think it matters at all right now? Because, again, I certainly don't. As long as you guys understand what it is that I'm talking about and you're able to get the information that I am trying to relay to you while talking about a particular subject, that's what matters. What matters is that you're here learning something. Doesn't matter if I say carbine or carbine. If that gets under your skin, you're taking life way too seriously and you're giving yourself a bunch of unnecessary stress that you don't have to worry about. Or in one grand, Garand, however it is you want to pronounce that one. Again, an example of, well, we got people who are, like, say, historians, and they say, John Garand said that his name rhymes with Aaron, and that's the way to do it. And then you get army vets, or just military, I don't know, military people in general, and they'll say it's pronounced Garand, or Grand, Go Rand. See, I can't even pronounce it anymore. But they'll say it's pronounced this way because that's the military designation of how that rifle is pronounced. And it's just, we got people butting heads over absolutely nothing. Those people, again, are taking life way, way too seriously. Or here's another really, really good example. I get all the time, because I love playing with old school military surplus stuff, I get all the time people yelling at me because I don't have a stockpile of rifles like this right here. This is my Delton DTI 15. This is a rifle that I use for a whole lot of practical purposes. But they'll tell me, hey, instead of buying all those crap old guns, you should be getting something like this right here. And I'm like, why? I've already got things like this right here. You know, my bases are covered. The reason why you want me to have more of these is because you're taking life way too seriously, and you are wanting to be absolutely prepared for the extraordinarily unlikely situations that very, 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 very likely will never happen, at least within our lifetime. And the way that things are changing, technologically speaking, things like this are getting to the point of being obsolete, especially in an era where we have, say, drones dominating the battlefield, or if we have infrared and thermal technology that can tell where people are across the planet from space. Like, you are taking life way, way too seriously, and you are so far behind the curve that you don't even realize it. Now, the main reason why I collect these things is because I think that they're cool, but what I do in my life for practical purposes, basically anything on these walls would be able to achieve that job. Like, for example, I have my bases covered with new modern technology, and I have all of the new modern cartridges that I can go out and use to very, very great effect. But all of that being said, I very, very rarely shoot beyond 300 yards. And I very rarely shoot anything that's, say, 30-06 or 8mm Mauser or 7.62x54R, 303 British. I very rarely shoot at things that those cartridges cannot solve, and I very rarely find myself in a situation where a rifle like a Mauser can't perform the particular job that I need a rifle to be able to perform. There's a reason why I carry these around whenever I'm off doing whatever it is that I'm doing. Typically, if I'm out camping or hunting or just living a normal civilian life without the ideology of Russian paratroopers might be diving down any second now, just like the doomsday preppers that are constantly pondering to themselves that doomsday could potentially be tomorrow, and everything that they have to do has to be in preparation of absolute worst case scenario. Those people are taking life way too seriously. If you spend 50 years of your life in preparation for doomsday, constantly worried that it might happen, and it does happen, and you are prepared for it, congratulations. You wasted about 50 years of your life in absolute panic mode, thinking that something might potentially be coming. Now, like I said, I am prepared for worst case. I'm a dude. I'm one guy. I'm only going to be using one rifle at a time, and I've actually relatively recently made a video talking about how many loadouts I'm able to provide, and I definitely have enough loadouts to be able to give to plenty of people. But that being said, the same people who are saying, hey, get the best things in case you have to hand them out to friends, are also the kind of people who say, hey, just because you didn't prepare, that's not my problem, this is my stuff and you're not touching it. Like, there's a real ultimatum with people like that, and those people are just, they're looking for conflict, they're looking for confrontation, they are looking for whatever it is that they can do and whatever it is that they can say to make the opposing party that they're dealing with uncomfortable or unhappy. And those people are taking life way too seriously. Don't take life so seriously, guys. I had a stroke at 24 years old, and I genuinely thought that I was not gonna make it. And after that, I just decided to myself, I am done fighting in life. Whatever it is that happens, unless it is something absolutely significant and life-changing, I'm just gonna let it go. And I think that's one of the things that makes me a half-decent YouTuber, because I get so much hate in the comments, and I just don't care about it. I really, genuinely do not care about the people who criticize the absolute minor, mundane nonsense of the YouTube channel, like pronunciations, or the way that I speak, or just really, really minor things, really simple things, like if I'm making a video on a Mauser and somebody's like, oh, you shouldn't be using that, you should use an AR-15 with an LPVO and modern optics and 6.5 Grendel because it's the superior cartridge, or 6.5 ARC, or whatever it is that they want to go to. I don't even bother reading those. Like, once it gets to a point to where I'm reading through a comment and it says, you're full of XYZ excrement thing because you're wrong about this, or you shouldn't be doing that because you have to do this instead. You guys take life way too seriously. And I don't even bother reading those comments. I just kind of brush right through them. Now, if you're offering legitimate criticism based off of what it is that I'm saying, because maybe I got something wrong, I get it, I'm a human. There's a tremendous amount of knowledge that I have to go through, and I do occasionally get things wrong. I understand that. Those comments I welcome. I absolutely welcome people saying, hey, you're wrong because of this, or you need to learn this particular topic about this particular situation, or, you know, insert your choice here. But the people who just try to get under skin for the sake of getting under skin are the people that I don't bother with. And those are the people that, again, like I said, are taking life way too seriously. And boy, I hope that you're not one of them. So thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. The description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you on the next episode.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.